Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to tell you some tips and tricks and settings you need to be making sure you're changing to get the most out of QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online is a huge piece of software, so big in fact that we have a whole dedicated channel on it here. Why not give us a follow? But there's so much to do, so much to see, so much to have and get right within QuickBooks Online. If you've got the wrong settings, sometimes you might be getting it wrong. So this video is just for you to make sure that you have those settings done exactly how they should be so you make the most out of QuickBooks Online. Join me for this one because this one's going to be very important for you and your QuickBooks Online journey. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts at Boffix, and your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday at 8:30 AM for Ask the Accountant. Now, this video is going to be really important to you, especially if you're using QuickBooks on a semi-regular basis. I want to make sure that you're not missing out on some of the best tips and tricks out there. These are settings that I think you should be changing straight away. And let's get straight into it and find out exactly what I mean by these important settings. Now, the first one is actually in the settings area itself. I go to the company cog, top right hand corner, your company accounts and settings. I want everyone to jump over to the advanced area. And from the advanced area, I want to be making sure that you go and have a look at that automation setting just here. Now, this is really, really important. You see, the automation settings here could either make or break how useful and how you are actually using QuickBooks Online. For example, pre-fill forms with previous entered content. Actually, very rarely is that going to be a problem to you. The idea that is I was going to bring up a new bill or a new invoice and I chose an existing customer or an existing supplier, then this will look back at what I previously did and bring that information in for me. So that can be really useful. Imagine that you've got the same bill that you put in each and every month and it's always going to go to rent, for example. It's your landlord. Well, if you go and pick that landlord down, it's going to bring back exactly what the rent was last time. And it's your job to make sure that it's not changed like the amount or anything else. So in my opinion, that's very rarely going to be a bad thing for you. It's just going to mean that you're going to have things make it easier for you when you're putting lots of content in. What I would suggest you really keep an eye on though is automatically apply credits and automatically apply bill payments. Both of these are all about a bit of automation. And in some circumstances, they are absolutely brilliant and will save you a lot of time. In other circumstances, it could be kind of catastrophic to you and your accounts. Now, the logic of them is really straightforward. Automatically applied credits means that if there's a credit outstanding, like a credit note or anything, and you create an invoice and that credit's there, it's just going to pay it off. And it's always going to do the most longest outstanding one. That's the one it's always going to apply it to. And again, for most businesses out there, that's fine. That's exactly what you want. But in some circumstances, you may not want to apply it to the one that's been outstanding the most. You may be looking to apply it to a one-to-one. So you've created a credit note that relates to a particular invoice, and you want those two to match off, not what historical items are. So you've just got to be careful with that one. Really, if you have got it turned on, make sure that you are looking at what it's applying to. And in some circumstances, you're going to have to make changes. Automatically apply bill payments though, well, that could be quite common. Now, in some circumstances, this is an absolute game changer. Like, for example, in my situation where I have lots of different clients and sometimes I do payment accounts and things like that, then sometimes I will just apply and push a payment they've made in the bank straight to that supplier or customer. And when I put that over there, then maybe I want to automatically apply it. Now, sometimes this can be an absolute game changer because if you have automatically applied bill payments using things like payment on account, then as soon as that payment account hits that supplier, it will automatically bring in and apply those accordingly. That can be really powerful, and I actually highly recommend you looking at that and bringing that in if that's going to be useful to you. But again, in some circumstances, that could be really dangerous. So keep an eye on that automation and just make sure that it's right for you and your business. While we're on our accounts and settings page, one of the most important settings that people always miss is the first month of your financial year. QuickBooks itself has what's called a dynamic year end in it. What that means is that as soon as it knows you've gone from one year end to the next, it will automatically post all the year end journals for you. Whereas other software, you need to close down the period, then actually run the period, and there's a whole kind of mismatch. In QuickBooks, though, they make it super simple. You choose what the year end's going to be, or in this case, the actual first day of your new year, and that'll automatically run it. So if you haven't got the year end right, then you're going to have different problems, including the fact that your reports are actually going to be incorrect. So heed my advice, make sure that you go to the accounting area, make sure you go to the first month of your financial year, and make sure that this here relates to your first month of your financial year. Without that, you're going to have incorrect reports going forward. So make sure you get that set right. Another setting that's really useful for you is the default tax rate setting just here. If you're VAT registered and you want to make sure you're doing inclusive and exclusive, remember, exclusive means that you're going to put the amount in as an invoice or as a bill, and then the VAT is going to add on top of there. Inclusive means that it's going to work backwards. So whatever amount you say that invoice or bill is, or expense or sales receipt, it's going to work backwards. And that can be really powerful for making sure that you are dealing with the VAT correct. And you can default the tax rate selection to either exclusive or inclusive directly from this page. All right, here's a tip for you to make your banking super simple. So I'm going to go over to the banking area, and from the banking area, I'm going to have a place that's got quite a few transactions for me to deal with. Now, in this particular view, yes, I can use the tick boxes on the left-hand side, tick what I need. And remember, if I want to tick a lot of them, I start at the top, hold shift, and I can tick everything in between as needed. So I've got flexibility to go through and add all those if I need to. But to make my life easier, have you considered using the cog in the right-hand corner? And from the cog there, you've got groups and turn on grouping. When you turn on grouping and add that feature, what it means is if I do by date, it's going to group all my dates together in months. But the one that's important to me, I think, is description. Because what it's done then, it's put each one of these in there into their actual individual ones. So I've got all my Trainline transactions here, for example. They've all put to travel expense. They've all got VAT on them. Probably not right, but let's just go with this. If I want to change that though, I can tick the box, update if I need to, change that VAT right to the correct ones. I'm going to go and put that into exempt. And I can then apply and accept. And just like that, all my Trainline transactions have been dealt with in what? 3 or 4 clicks. Absolutely brilliant. And speaking of things that don't ignore, how always consider, if QuickBooks is giving you these little indications like this, they're trying to help you, they're trying to give you some information. Do you want to use the same category for all expenses from Trainline? Yes, use the same category. Then at that point, I can even choose what the PAYE is going to be, and I can say what the pay is going to be. I can automatically confirm transaction this applies to. So basically saying you want to use auto rule, and then I can create that rule directly from here. Boom. That's a setting you definitely don't want to ignore. If that's not coming up for you, do make sure that in your cog at the top here that you've got the opportunity to say show suggested rules already ticked. That's a really useful option there. That's going to make your life really easy going forward. And then the final tip to make sure that you're making the most out of QuickBooks Online is company cog, manage users, and making sure you've got the right users have access. So from the user tab in the top left hand corner, you can add a user and add people who then you can control what they can and can't see. So if I select standard, I can go through and I can see what they can and can't see. Are they limited to only customers, for example, or vice versa? And if you've got an advanced version of QuickBooks, you have even more granular ways in which you can see what they can and can't see. And you can really go in and deep dive into exactly what's available to them in the advanced version. The final bit, though, is the accounting firms. What the accounting firm can do is mean that you can give access to your accountant, meaning that they can see what's going on and make sure that you've got things going correctly within QuickBooks Online. We having access to our clients at Boffix is an absolute game changer. And I do think that one of the most powerful ways in which you can get the most out of QuickBooks Online, give access to your accountant and let them teach you, tell you, and influence you on how to get the most out of QuickBooks. And there we are. There are some settings that I think you need to be changing straight away within QuickBooks Online to get the most out of them. What do you think? Any comments below of anything I missed? Is there a setting that you go along and turn up and switch on as soon as you go in to a fresh version of QuickBooks? If so, would love to hear below, because it's all about making sure that everyone can see those settings. And if we get enough of them, I'll no doubt do a little video showcasing your settings that you think are the best for QuickBooks Online. My name's been Alan Patrick. As always, this video has been an absolute pleasure to do for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that stuff like you already are, because you're absolutely smashing it. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.